Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Monday, November 22nd. Ian Cameron, Skee Profit, Dutch Boy Fresh. We'll have Trot Wham with us momentarily as well. We're ready for a brand new week and a Monday NBA card with 10 games, a lot of games on tap, opportunities galore. We'll see if we can find some winners here on this NBA card. Just a reminder, we won't have a show this Thursday. It is Thanksgiving on Thursday, and there are no NBA games on Thursday. So we'll be off that day, but we will be here with you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday this week right here on the NBA Pub Hub. So let's get to it. We'll start with Brooklyn and Cleveland. The Nets 6-point road favorites here, 208.5 the total in this game. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who have been a bit of a pleasant surprise this year, certainly point spread wise, they have been, but they've kind of fallen on hard times the last 4 games. 0-4 against the spread, 1-3 straight up, but pretty grueling schedule. They beat Boston, but then they lost the rematch to the Celtics. Then they faced Brooklyn and Golden State. No easy task, and they fall short in both of those games. Now they're going to get Brooklyn again here tonight. Brooklyn hasn't played in a couple of days. Cleveland hasn't played in 3 days. So you're probably going to get both of these teams well rested here, which is a good thing in terms of injuries for this game. It looks like for the Nets, it's going to be Brown, Claxton, and Harris still out. And, of course, Kyrie hasn't played yet this year for the Nets. For the Cavs, they just pretty much have Evan Mobley as the main cog still out. The good news is for them, when you look at it, and of course Sexton, it goes without saying, out still. But, the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think, taking the money here in this game, you can maybe understand why that is. For Brooklyn, they're coming off 2 victories that they got the job done. They only beat Orlando at home by 2 in their last game. And when you look at them as these bigger favorites, they haven't always, gotten the job done. You've got the Cavs, not a couple of days off, 3-game losing streak, but all the pretty quality competition. I expect a good enough effort here from Cleveland, maybe to stay inside this number as home underdogs. So the money's come in on Cleveland. I agree. I would look to the Cavs here in this one. What do you think, Skee? Any thoughts, Nets and Cavs?
Yeah, this is a game I don't really like. I don't play a lot of Cavaliers games in general, even though I should. They've been money makers, and when these teams play so closely together, it's a lot of games on the slate. I'll just pass it.
Yeah, they've been good at home this year too. Home is especially as a dog. So another reason too. And but keep in mind too, Brooklyn just beat Cleveland last week 109-99. So is there really that fire and motivation to go out there and blow out Cleveland again? I'm not so sure about that. We'll see. Certainly they have their better team, but I question this spot laying 6 points on the road here for Brooklyn. What do you think here, Dutch?
Yeah, real quick. Salute to the ladies, gents, and D-gents out there, Wi-Fi land. You already know it's all love. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Share the video if you can. And, of course, hit that motherfucking like button. We got to get to a hundo live. That's Mando. Yeah, man. Shit, man. I'm glad it's Medicaid Monday. And, what I'm saying? I'm glad I came loaded here as fuck because this is a clear backwood. Backwood this motherfucker. Yeah, man.
All right, Wham. Anything Brooklyn, Cleveland?
Yeah, like you said, though, Ian, I expect this Cleveland team to be really rested this week. They really don't have that many games scheduled up like Brooklyn does or any of these other teams that they're going to face this week. So I think they're going to surprise teams. Having guys come back like Lauren Marketing. I know, Mobley being out is kind of questionable, and I believe Seti Osman is questionable as well. This is probably going to be a backwood until you get some information there. But I think I like the Cleveland spot here. I think they could be able to pull it off and actually start off a winning streak this week.
All right, Charlotte, Washington. We got Washington 4.5-point home favorites, 216.5 the total in this game. The Hornets, have played some good ball lately, 5-1 straight up and against the spread. Their last 6 games, the only loss was Atlanta on the road, and very few teams have won in Atlanta this year. So there's really no shame in that for Charlotte. They'll look to bounce back. Keep an eye on the schedule here, though. It's the 3rd game in 4 nights for this Charlotte team. So it's a little bit of a rest edge for Washington. It's a revenge spot for Washington, too. They lost at Charlotte by 10 just recently back on November 17th. Wizards had lost 2 in a row. That loss to Charlotte that I just talked about, as well as a 112-97 loss to Miami on the road. But they got Miami back the very next game, the second half of that home and home in Washington. Washington got the victory 103-100 over the Miami Heat. We'll see how they fare here. They avenged a loss to Miami, and they'll be looking to avenge a loss here to Charlotte. So And I like the fact that they've had a few more days between games recently than Charlotte. So 4.5, I'd lean to the Wizards here, laying the points here on their home floor. What do you like here, Skee, if anything, Charlotte and Washington?
Yeah, I'm kind of blanking out a little bit as far as these teams just played not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes,
Charlotte,
sir.
yep, 107-97 Charlotte, and it was a second half comeback for Charlotte in that game. Yep.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, they put it right here back like another low scoring game. Like the total was 216. I just see, the Wizards playing at the slowest pace in the league over their last 5 games. Both teams, like you talked about the Wizards defense, Hornets, they kind of stepped up their defense a little bit too. And both teams top 10 defending the three. So, it makes sense for me while I'm getting all these unders. Hornets, it's a team that likes to play up tempo, still top 10 in pace their last 5, but they've gone under 5 of their last 6. So, I probably would think the same scenario, same kind of matchup. It just goes under again because it's two teams that are playing a lot of defense lately.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's been value, Skee, all year on Washington unders because they were such a dreadful defensive team last year, and they played a lot better at that end of the floor. I don't think they're playing quite as fast or quick either. So you put it together, better defense, maybe the pace down a bit, and you get a lot of unders, and we've seen that from Washington. By the way, Washington 7-1 against the spread at the house this year at home. They've played very well. They've cashed tickets at home. Charlotte just 4-6 against the spread on the road. So keep that in mind. Another thing in Washington's favor here. Dutch, what do you think here? Hornets, Wizards.
Yeah, shout out to our guy Kevin, man. Appreciate you with the dono. Much love, my guy. Moses, Star Child, everybody in chat. I see you, my guys. This game, yeah, Skee touched on it. You touched on it a lot too, Ian. These guys did just play recently. The Wizards shot 30% from the field in that game. 19% from 3, 8 of 42 from deep, and actually we're up 18 points in that game. You touched on it, gave it away in the second half. The Hornets have been, they've been playing good basketball of late, coming off a loss. Only thing that really hesitates me here, but I did lock in the Wizards -4. The Hornets are 1-5 ATS in their last 5 on the road. And the Wizards, you touched on it, playing good at the house, just came off beating Miami at the house, 7-1 overall ATS at the house, 5-2 last 7 ATS as a favorite. So I just think this is a good spot here for the Wizards. Look for Bill to attack Dinwiddie. Now, big thing here is also rebounding. They were out rebounded +11 in that game in Charlotte. So Gafford, Harrell, these boys, Kuz, these boys, they got to hit the board. As long as they rebound and shoot better than 19% from 3, which I believe they will, they should handle business at the house.
All right, good stuff. All right, Wham, Charlotte, Washington.
Yeah, Skee hit it right on the head right there. I'm thinking under here. Both of these teams are playing towards the under. Last 5 games at the house for the Wizards been going under, and the last 5 of the last 6 games for the Hornets going under. Both of these teams are ranked top 10 at defending the 3 in the season. I think this is an under spot here. That's the way I would be going.
All right, Oklahoma City. I never thought I'd say they've been one of my favorite teams to bet on this year, but here we are, Oklahoma City and Atlanta. We got the Hawks 12-point home favorites here, 213 the total in this game. This is a real tricky one because you look at this Atlanta team and the machine they've been on their home floor. It's amazing, 7-1 against the spread and straight up at home. They just continue to win and cover at home. Wash, rinse, repeat with this Atlanta team. Look at 4-game homestand they've had so far. This is the final game of that homestand. The first 4, 4-0 straight up in ATS, Milwaukee, Orlando, Boston, and Charlotte for this Hawks team. It's all they do is they win and cover at home. But as much as I'm reluctant to fade Atlanta at home, I'm reluctant to fade OKC, period, right now. This team's just been competitive. They've been in a lot of games lately. They've covered 3 straight. They hung tough with the Bucks, 13-point dogs, lost by 7. I took them that night on Friday. I came back to the well with them Saturday, even on the back-to-back, getting 9.5 against Boston. They lose by 6. This team's really playing well, battling every night. All of a sudden, offensively, I've talked about our guy Lou Dort many games, how he's been good shooting the ball lately. Talk about his prop as well, how he's been going over that scoring prop of his more often than not. Giddy's been good. SGA, of course, it goes without saying. So they're getting a little more balance in their attack offensively. Their defensive play's been decent, at least during this run. The Oklahoma City Thunder, of course, they held the Bucks to 96 in that a narrow loss to the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday. So, I like a lot of what I'm seeing here from the Thunder. And when they're getting 12 like this, I'm hesitant to go against them. So it's tough. Don't want to go against Atlanta at home. Don't really want to fade OKC getting this number of points for a team that's just been scrappy night in and night out. So probably a game I don't get involved in, at least from a side perspective. What do you think here, Skee, Thunder and Hawks?
Well, first off, SGA, he's questionable. If he's out, I feel like the Thunder are going to have a real hard time keeping up with the Hawks offensively. So, I mean, automatically, I want to look towards the Hawks, and it's just a big rest advantage for them as well. Like OKC, this is their third game in 4 nights. This is only the second game in 5 nights for Atlanta, and they're at the house. They've won 4 games in a row. I just see. I mean, I know you got Bogdanovic's game time decision. I would want him in, but it just feels like the Hawks are going to smash in this spot. Probably win like close to 20. So I like the Hawks here, and OKC, man. All of their games go under. All the first halves go under. I like probably first half under in this one. I looked at the Hawks where the line is today. They've gone under 108 4 of their last 5 games, and OKC, I think they've gone on under their last 10 first halves.
Yeah, it's definitely an under. It does feel like a bit of an under game, and you're right. SGA questionable, and there was the Boston game on Saturday where he tweaked that ankle. So we're gonna have to see if he's able to still play through that here tonight. If he doesn't play, that's going to make the Luguentz Dort prop more appealing in my mind. Because look, you'd expect his backcourt mate, SGA's backcourt mate, to handle more of the scoring load and shoulder more of that if he doesn't play in this game tonight. Dutch, what do you think here, OKC ATL?
Yeah, this game's a tough one for me. Right off the bat, I want to take advantage of Atlanta at home, but then I look into it, and you touched on it, Ian. OKC's, they've been a moneymaker, especially on the road. They're 5-0 ATS in their last 5 on the road, 8-2 ATS in their last 10, and they're 4-2 ATS in their last 6 meetings, versus Atlanta. So you're telling me I'm going to get like 12 points and the whole world's going to be on Atlanta. I mean, I feel like Atlanta will win this game, but I don't know. I mean, Shea might keep me off this game. Might be a backwheel for me. I was looking first half, maybe Atlanta -7 looks appealing to me. But OKC is gritty. The numbers say don't get in their way. They'll cover the 12 here. I'll probably stay off because of Shea questionability. But if he plays and he's a go, I think the Thunder plus the points would be the play full game.
All right, Wham.
Yeah, I'm going right where you said, bro. The Lou Dort 3-point makes is probably the way I'm going to go here. In the last 9 games, he's hit 2+ 3-point makes, 8 of those games. And then if you thinking over the 2.5, he's hit that 5 of the last 9 games. In that span, averaging about 8 attempts. You know what I'm saying? If Shea is out, it's only going to make it even better there. So he's getting those all the way up. And like you said, Ian, if he's going to go over the points all the time, I might as well just try to get some plus money out of this shit and take the 3 points. He's taking 8 shots, so that's the way I'll be looking.
All right, we got Houston and Boston now. Boston, 12-point home favorites, 214 the total here in this game. The Celtics starting to play a little bit better, no doubt. Let's give them their credit. 7-3 in the last 10 games straight up, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Boston, back-to-back wins at home against the Lakers and the Thunder. We'll see if they can take care of business again here tonight against Houston. They should be able to. Houston's been dreadful. Well, one of the worst teams in the NBA by far. They've on a brutal losing streak that has now gotten to, I believe, something like 13 in a row they've lost. It's been just a brutal 14 in a row that they've lost the Houston Rockets. It's been a rough go for them. They did cover, though. They got inside the number against the Knicks on Saturday night, 10.5-point underdogs, losing 106 to 99. Of course, the impressive thing about the Celtics during this little bit of an uptick in their performance is much of it has been without Brown. He was back. He was missing a bunch of the games, but he'll be back tonight, making his return for the Celtics against the Rockets. Look, obviously, this is a guy that brings 26.9 points per game, 6.3 rebounds per game to your lineup. So a huge addition here for Boston. Normally, I am all in on going against Boston, laying double digits at home, but not with this Houston team. They're just not competing enough on a nightly basis right now for my liking. Maybe over the total. I would agree with that. I think the total's gone up a little bit, and I agree. The Rockets haven't been offensively great the last few games. They've actually struggled to put the ball in the hoop, 99 and 89 in their last 2 games. But Boston sometimes will take their foot off the accelerator. They did that against OKC. It's kind of a flat spot where it's Houston. It's one of the worst teams. I could see their defensive intensity for 48 minutes lagging a little bit tonight, Boston, and that could allow Houston to score. And I think Boston will score at will against this Rockets team, especially with Jaylen Brown back, no question. So I like the over in this game. And Boston does have a home game with Brooklyn coming up Wednesday night after this. So keep an eye on that spot. Big game with the Nets following this one for the Boston Celtics. What do you think here, Skee? Houston and Boston.
Yeah, it's only one way to play this game. And I know I'm not taking the Houston Rockets. I mean, how many games have they lost in a row already? How many more do you need to? And they're winning. They're losing by double digits, like pretty often. They've covered 1 of their last 6 games. Boston's covered 7 of their last 10. The only thing you have going for Houston, if you like them, they do have a rest advantage in this one. 3rd and 4th nights for Boston, but kind of the opposite. I think it's like more like the 2nd and 5 nights for Houston. So if you like Houston, you have that going for you. But the only way to play it for me is Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, not the kind of team I love laying doubles with, but Houston's not giving me enough evidence right now that they can compete in games lately. It's been a rough go for them. What do you think here, Dutch? Rockets, Celtics.
420 Fuego. I see you, Pedro. I see you, Adonis, with the kind words too. I appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, when it comes to this game, man, I really want to bet Jason Tatum over 26.5 points, minus 105. He's been killing it, averaging 34.5 points per game last 3. Dropped 31 last time he's seen Houston. But, Jaylen Brown coming back, that could throw it off a little bit, to be honest with you. I don't expect this game to be a blowout. I don't know. I kind of disagree with Skee. I don't see how you could lay 12 with Boston. I don't give a fuck who they're playing realistically. Houston played decent against the Knicks, honestly, until they gave that away right there in the 4th. Knicks did what they had to do to play, but Houston played. I don't know if it was more of the Knicks just playing horrible basketball, but Knicks were in that game in the 4th quarter. I could see this being a competitive game. I probably lean 12 points with Houston. But yeah, Jason Tatum would be my look if I had to bet this game over points. He's been playing nice.
All right, Wham, Houston, Boston.
Yeah, I'm only going to go Boston here, man. It's no way I'm thinking Houston's going to be competitive, bro. I don't know what the fuck Dutch is talking about. And they're getting most likely going to get KPJ back. They slipped to like the 25th in turnover percentage. That turnover percentage going back up to the 30th, bro. They suck, bro, when he play out there. So I'm only thinking Boston here, bro. That's the only way. And honestly, them getting Jaylen Brown back may be just another addition to covering the spread here. So I'm not having better yet, but that's the only way I'm looking.
You probably fuck up that shit, man. It's gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, I understand though. We've been getting burnt on Boston though.
Yeah, it's.
I just feel like the market has maybe kind of already adjusted to how bad Houston is. Yeah, how long are you going to continue to beat them on Houston,
Right.
until they put up the good number? So that's why I'm a little nervous.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good reason.
On
to be
that
nervous.
wedding
I
pod,
agree with
Mark.
that.
Yeah, man.
All right, we got
And then-
Indiana,
I'm
Chicago.
sorry to cut you off, Ian. My apologies
ahead.
there. And that dead last and true shooting too, bro. They can't get the shot up. 48%. Got to mention that, bro. They could cover this. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
No, throw good stats. That's what it's all about here on the NBA Pub. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that, everybody. 184 live viewers. Hit that like button. We're here for 4 days this week. We're off
Smash
Thanksgiving, but we're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday with this show, breaking down the NBA slate. Indiana, Chicago now. We got the Bulls. 1.5, 2-point home favorites, 212.5 the total in this game. We've seen the money come in on the Indiana Pacers here in this game. And when you look at it, Alex Caruso, Javonte Green, game time decisions for the Bulls tonight, both questionable. I think Green will play, though. Vucevic still not back tonight. Once again, he's still in COVID-19 protocol for the Bulls. Bulls coming off a frantic come-from-behind victory against the New York Knicks. Bad beat if you had the Knicks. They were 5.5-point road underdogs. They lose by 6 to the Chicago Bulls. Chicago was down early in the 4th quarter. A nice 4th quarter rally. DeRozan just balled out last night. 10 for 20 from the field, 31 points, 50% shooting for him. So the kid from Compton got the job done for the Bulls last night in that victory against the Knicks. But they had to expend a lot of energy for that. And now they're on the second of back-to-back games here. Now, no travel because they're at home again. But I think people see this as definitely a scheduling advantage for the Pacers. They've been off since Saturday. They have at least have the day off prior to this game. They beat up on the Pelicans 111-94. But before that, they lost 3 in a row to the Knicks, the Pistons, and the Hornets. They've been up and down. They also have some wins against some good teams like Utah and Philly. And then they have these games where they lose to the likes of the Pistons. So go figure if you can figure out this Pacers team. They've been Jekyll and Hyde. But I know one thing's for sure. It ain't a Bulls spot. And I think the Bulls are the better team. And I think this is a cheap price, but it ain't a Bulls spot, not even close. So I understand the people that think this is a Pacers spot, why they like Indiana. It's just they're so Jekyll and Hyde, and I'm not convinced they're better than Chicago. But that's why it's a tough game for me. I'll probably end up staying away. But I understand why people are taking Indiana. It's definitely a better spot for them than Chicago tonight. What do you think, Skee? Indiana, Chicago.
Yeah, you pretty much said everything. I have my numbers say to take Chicago, but the spot doesn't agree. So it's a game that I stay off.
Yeah, exactly. I want more points than 2 now. If you got 3.5, good at the open for Indiana, but now 2, they almost have to win the game, and they're not better than Chicago. This team, they're just too inconsistent for me. This Pacers team, although I do like, I think maybe in this game from a prop standpoint, you look at the bonus here against this Bulls front court without Vucevic. I think that's definitely something to look at here in terms of props. Sabonis for the Pacers tonight. Dutch, what do you think? Indy, Chicago.
Yeah, shout out to our guy Mark Nick, Jacksonville Zoe. I see you. Yeah, Pedro, man, he's talking. I'm talking. We're in the same rotation. I feel like this is a big advantage for Sabonis. You just touched on it, Ian, and obviously Miles Turner. Until Big Vooch gets back, they lacking a little down low. And I know, Green's coming off it, giving them some rebounds, and Caruso's punk ass doing a little something, giving him 4. I need over 4.5. He'll give you 4. He'll give you 4, that little motherfucker. But yeah, I think this is a pace spot. I jumped on it at 3. I think you could take the 2 money line. I think they beat the Bulls. The Bulls are tired, man. I know they played a lot of games. Someone in the chat said 6 games, 8 nights. I don't know if it's quite that much, but it's definitely a lot. But I've also was looking off of last night's game. Their big 3 played 35 plus minutes. Levine, DeRozan, and Ball. That was a physical game. When they played New York, that's a big game for both teams. There was over 50 fouls combined in that game and over 58 free throws in that game. Big physical game against New York last night. I think the Pacers will come in. The Pacers actually, with LeVert back, are a very deep team. They actually can go about 9-10. I think they'll run them off the floor eventually by the fourth quarter, and the Bulls will be in trouble here. Legs will die out by third, fourth. I like the Pacers here, 6-2 ATS in their last 8 meetings versus the Chicago Bulls. I know it's a different team, but they still play well against Chicago. 5-0 straight up in their last 5 in Chi-Town. So when they make that trip, they like that deep dish because they get paid there. They're getting off in Chicago. They win the game outright. 10-2 straight up in their last 12 meetings versus Chicago. I like the Pacers here, man. I think it's a beautiful spot for the Pacers, but also they play well against Chicago. And Chicago obviously is very tired. So yeah, give me the Pacers. The best number you can get. I got them at 3 early.
Hard to argue with any of those points. I mean, it's clear, handicapping 101 the NBA, schedule and the spot plays a part in it.
Yeah.
And this is the Bulls expended a lot of energy. And you're right. That's an intense game. It's a playoff team from last year in their building. And they rallied to win that game in the fourth quarter. And now they're on the back-to-back. And you worry now, maybe more disinterested in this opponent tonight, the Pacers. And, yeah, it's just one of those situations that you see often in the NBA where it is maybe a little bit of an inferior Indiana team, but in the much better scheduling spot tonight than Chicago. Wham, what do you think here?
Muty, man.
Bro, good looking, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Flash my face on the screen like, hey, you ain't saying nothing. Okay, but no, I agree with you guys. I think this is the Pacers spot here. As far as the advantage down low, I'm not sure if it's going to be that big of a difference though. They haven't really they've been playing pretty good defense. I think they're top 7 in the points in the paint for the Chicago Bulls. So they may be tired though, so that's the reason why I don't want to take it. Obviously, it's a line movement here as well. Haven't bet this game, so it's probably going to be a backwood.
All right, we move on now to Orlando, Milwaukee. The Bucks, 13-point home favorites, 218 and a half the total in this game. The Magic, definitely a tough season so far, 4-13, back-to-back losses to Brooklyn and Milwaukee. However, they covered in both of those games, including to Milwaukee on Saturday in Milwaukee, 117-108. Milwaukee wins, but Orlando gets the money there, and they've actually covered 3 in a row. They took Brooklyn down to the wire on the road. They beat the Knicks. So all of a sudden, we've seen a little sign of life here for the Magic. You look at Milwaukee, they haven't covered in 5 straight. They've had a tough time, especially laying points this year. It's been tough for this Milwaukee Bucks team. They haven't had their full roster, their full lineup for hardly any games this year. Brook Lopez is still out for this team. Now, luckily, they have a lot of their other guys back lately. They've returned the last few weeks, including, Holiday and Middleton, who are banged up for a period of time. Even Bobby Portis missed some games. So that's helped them out a little bit. But definitely, it's been tough to trust the Bucks laying double digits. Now, from an Orlando standpoint here in this game, Cole Anthony is going to miss this game once again, but he also didn't play Saturday against Milwaukee, and yet the Magic still hung tough, stayed inside the number and covered in that game. I'd probably have to lean Orlando again here. I mean, Milwaukee beat them, and they just moved on. Is it going to be the same thing again here where Milwaukee's just thinking, you know what, just get the win, move on. We don't have to expend energy. Don't have to worry about blowing this team out. Just get the win and move on. And we have seen certainly Orlando, at least defensively, I think Orlando's been a little bit better here in these last few games where they've hung tough against the Knicks, the Nets, and the Bucks. And look, even with out Cole Anthony in the Saturday night game against Milwaukee, they got Jalen Suggs stepping up. They had some performances off the bench from Hampton and Okeke as well for them. So that's what you need if you're not going to have Cole Anthony, who does so much of the scoring. That's the one concern. They got other contributors stepping up Saturday against Milwaukee without Anthony, but Anthony's out again. So can you get that support for offensively for the Magic from those other sources tonight? That remains to be seen. But no, I'm just not in a hurry to lay 13 with Milwaukee. So by default, it's Orlando or pass for me. Skee, what do you think? Magic, Bucks?
If Cole Anthony was in, maybe you could maybe try to get with Orlando, but I just have no interest without him. Bucks, they haven't covered their last 5 games. I don't really want to look their way either. I mean, I know eventually it'll turn and it will, but it's a game I have to pass.
It's a tough one. I agree, especially with Suggs points. I agree with that. Someone said that in the chat. 4-2-0 Fuego. Definitely. And Jalen Suggs has picked it up. Had a good offensive game last time out against the Bucks, 16 points. He had 15, 29, and 22 before that. He's the guy you got to look to. I agree. In fact, that makes a lot of sense. Jalen Suggs over points tonight in this one with no Cole Anthony on the floor. Dutch, what do you think here? Orlando, Milwaukee.
Yeah, shout out to our guy Eric Chang. Say a little late, better late than never, my guy. Thanks for joining us, of course. Felix like in the Bucks first half. Someone had a look. I might have been Felix with the team total under on Orlando. That might be a solid look, man. But hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's a clear motherfucking backwood all day, every day. There's no way I'm betting this fucking game. No, not none of my real money on this motherfucker. No.
Yeah, there's a couple of these ugly ducklings on the NBA card tonight, and this game might be one of them. Although I like the Suggs prop. I think I probably will take that. What do you think here, Wham, Orlando, Milwaukee?
I'm the only one crazy enough to jump in this game. This is possibly going to be my best bet of the day as well. It's going to be the Bucks first half -8. They covered 8 out of the last 10. So along with this team in Orlando, yes, they can score. I believe they're going to be able to score on this team, the Bucks. I just think they're not going to be able to score as efficient than the Bucks. They're going to cover this 8, and I believe that they're going to go over the first quarter over as well. They hit that 7 times for the Bucks, 6 of the last 10 for the Orlando here. I think that's live as well, over 54. And also I took the Bucks first half -8.
All right, on we go. Minnesota and New Orleans. We've got the Timberwolves 3-point road favorites in this game, 214 the total. between these two teams. New Orleans, it just continues for the most part. I don't know how they beat the Clippers, and I was pissed off because the Clippers just fell asleep in the second half on Friday night. That did not make me happy, not one bit. Thankfully, I got my money back from that Clippers loss Friday night. I took the Clippers yesterday against Dallas, and they got the job done. But that did not make me happy. The fact that they just forgot that there was 48 minutes to a basketball game, not just 24. In that second half against the Pelicans. But I don't know if I give the Pelicans too much credit for that, because outside of that, they've been roughed up repeatedly, blown out repeatedly, losing games left and right. And Minnesota, look out now. 4 straight covers, 3 straight wins. Sacramento, San Antonio, Memphis. This is a team that I've been waiting patiently to see them flip the switch, turn the corner. I do think they've got the chance to at least hang around and compete for one of those final playoff spots in the West. They underachieved. They had a brutal schedule. Let's not forget that. Minnesota is only 7-9, but let's not forget the gauntlet they had to go through. Clippers a couple of times, 3 times, in fact. The Lakers, Golden State, Phoenix. I mean, they had a really, really brutal schedule there. They ran the gauntlet, and now they're facing an easier schedule. The schedule is lightening up a little bit. They get teams they're capable of beating. I don't know. Price looks cheap to me. I'm on Mini here, -3. I think they get the job done, and they're starting to play better. And now with the step down in class, I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run, take care of business here. Skee, what do you think? Minnesota, New Orleans.
Yeah, that New Orleans game, Ian, it just, I ended up staying off at the end. I couldn't put it in because the Clippers were 5th game in 7 nights. They were just tired.
They did, yeah.
And so
Yep.
I'm not giving the Pelicans too much credit for that. I just think they were just extremely tired. So pretty much I will lean the T-Wolves just because a fate of the Pelicans is a team I really don't want to back. I do see them 5-2 as a home dog, but like I always say, Dutch favorite saying, 3 is kind of asking them to win. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be Timberwolves only for me.
All right, lean Timberwolves. Dutch, Minnesota, New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm glad Ski finally seen the motherfucking light talking about you don't want to bet the Pelicans. That's right. Auto motherfucker fade. I know they have found a way to cover a couple games at home, you know what I'm saying? Hold your fucking breath. But they're 3-8 ATS last 11. I mean, they're fucking 2-12 straight up in the last 14 games. We'll cover here the 3.5, whatever you get it at. I like the Wolves here, I really just think they're playing good ball right now. Pretty much you touched on it, Ian. They are also 4-0 ATS in their last 4 as a road favorite. They're 5-1 ATS in the last 6 in New Orleans as well. Now, these two teams did play earlier, in Minnesota, the home and home. Minnesota handled them the first game. And then that second game, the Pelicans did beat them, but I believe it was kind of just they overlooked them a little bit. I don't think that'll happen tonight. I think Minnesota's playing good ball. They're going to continue to do that. I look for Big Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. I know a lot of people like to dog him, but I mean, hey, the guy's doing his thing out there. The two games they played this year already, he's averaging 28.5 points against them, averaging 26.5 points per game the last 4. The cat's shooting 50% from the field, 84% from the free throw line, and over 46% from 3. So say what you will, but Cat will eat tonight. We like over 22.5 points, -105 as well.
Yeah, and Brandon Ingram hasn't looked right since coming back. He hasn't played his best. I think he's still trying to work his way back from that injury. So, and without him being at his absolute best and bringing his A game, that hurts the Pelicans because he's the one guy that's a difference maker offensively. And
I expect Big Val to be right, exactly. And I expect Big Val to be slow getting out there on Towns too as well. So look, maybe if you like the 3-point prop with Towns, I'm not mad at it, but I'll stick to the points.
Yeah, Russell's played great lately. He's turned it on. Edwards has been great, and I like the leadership from Edwards. When this team has a bad game, he's the one stepping up in the locker room saying, hey, we got to fix this shit when we don't play well. So give him credit. He's just a second-year player, and he's already taken on like that leadership hat, if you will, for the Minnesota Timberwolves. What do you think here, Wham, Minnesota, New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, you guys said a lot of there. What I believe here, I think Minnesota's going to win this game, going to win it by probably margin as well. They've been playing the better defense of the two, top 5 in defensive rating, second lowest in opponent's field goal percentage, and first best at opponent's 3-point percentage at 27%. They're holding it down there on the perimeter as well. Yeah. So the only way I would look here is Minnesota. think the 3 is pretty much a discount, man. And you're probably getting a little fight from the Pelicans. I'm not going to just discredit them like that. They are trash, but you may get a little fight from them, but not enough.
Yeah, exactly. Not enough is definitely been the case all year. And by the way, it's not even a given that, there's a couple of injuries here for Devontae Graham's the one for the Pelicans. Yes, it's not even a given he'll play foot injury for them. So we'll see if he suits up tonight. Phoenix, San Antonio. We've got Phoenix 5.5-point road favorites, 221.5 being the total in this game. You want to go against Phoenix right now? Go ahead. They've been brilliant. What else can you say? I mean, a couple of games where they narrowly failed to cover against Minnesota, Dallas twice, and in the Minnesota game they were 4-point home favorites, road favorites. They won by 3. Dallas, they were 8-point home favorites. They won by 7. And then in the other game against Dallas, they were 8.5-point home favorites. They won by 8. So they're that close to having covered like 10 in a row going into this game. And then they absolutely pounded the Denver Nuggets last night, 126-97. Now, it is a back-to-back for the Suns. They played last night, and San Antonio's got 3 days off going into this game. There's no question, huge advantage in the schedule for San Antonio, but is that enough to get behind them? They're 0-4 straight up, 0-4 against the spread the last 4 games, all 4 losses by at least 8 points or more, and they're only getting 5.5 here. So they've got to be right in this game start to finish, or have a chance to win it down the stretch if they're going to stay inside this number. And I don't know if they're going to be, because I just think there's a big gap between these two teams right now, the way they're playing. It is a huge advantage in the spot in the schedule for the Spurs, no doubt at all. It's enough to keep me off Phoenix, but I don't know if it's enough to put me on the San Antonio side. What do you think, Skee? Sun Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about that Clippers game, Ian. This is pretty similar right here as far as rest disadvantage for this Phoenix team. And the Clippers, I think on that game, they were on a 7-game win streak, and Phoenix now is on 12-game win streak. But their 3rd game in 4 nights. They just played last night. They haven't covered on a back-to-back yet this season. I usually don't want to catch the falling knife. I usually always say that. But Spurs, 3 days rest. I mean, you hardly ever see this 3rd and 4 nights versus 3 days rest at home. And a lot of those games they've been playing, they didn't have Pirtle. They have him back. I like the Spurs here. I think this is just like that Clippers game where the Pelicans outlasted them for 48 minutes. I think that's the Spurs tonight.
It's hard to argue with that. It's a huge spot advantage. I think even the Spurs play decent and they don't play atrocious, they're probably right in the game tonight, because they take advantage of just a fatigued, tired, worn down Suns team. They played a lot of games. They haven't, you're right, on the second night of back-to-back long term, their ATS numbers aren't great at all, the Phoenix Suns in that spot. So a lot of things to factor in for sure. 0-3-1 at ATS just this year. In the 4 games, on the second night of back-to-back games. And as we see on the screen right now, over 250 live viewers for the NBA Pub Hub. Hit that like button. Make sure you do that. And by the way, my bad not mentioning earlier, the big donation, I believe it was our boy Kevin, right, to Freitas with the dono. We appreciate that a million times over. People, it's why for viewers like you guys that donate, that's why we're here doing the shows every single day. Dutch, what do you like here? Phoenix, San Antonio.
Well, now I see why Ski don't got the Phoenix hoodie on. I see now. Hey, that's a loyal motherfucker too, right there, wearing that Lakers jack. You know what I'm saying? A little zip up after that bullshit yesterday. And I know they won, but it ain't covering. That's all the fuck I give a fuck about.
Yeah, I still was salty at the end. I ain't gonna lie.
They were scared, boys. You can't come to Detroit playing that way.
Yeah. Stewart was on some shit. He tried to hit the back alley on her ass. Yeah, that was the most entertaining I've seen something in Detroit in a while. I won't lie. No, but yeah, man, this game's tricky. This to me probably honestly is the sharpest number on the card. To be honest with you, and I could only, and I'm right with Ski. I could only look San Antonio, and I'm this fucking close to pulling the trigger. The back-to-back's a big thing with me. With the Suns, they haven't shown to cover a game yet this year. Now the last 3 games these two teams have faced has been decided by 5 points. 1-1-1 ATS. Just tough, man. The Spurs are +2 though in those first halves. If you want to maybe look Spurs first half, but then I was thinking, Phoenix probably died down, so maybe the full game, just the 5 would be the play, 5.5. We touched on them having fucking 3 days to sit around. Also after a 25-point loss to Minnesota, so Pop was probably in that ass. I would look for San Antonio to get your best game here tonight. Big Poto only played 15 minutes last game, had two attempts. Said he's feeling better. Look for him to get more in the lineup. If he only gets 15 minutes tonight, I'm not gonna, I think Phoenix will handle him. But if he can get 25, 30 minutes, get back in there, do some paint work. I'd look for San Antonio, maybe sneak one out here. Definitely cover the 5.5.
All right, we got Memphis and Utah next up. Utah 10.5, 11.
Did he skip Wham?
Wham,
Wham,
motherfucking
yes, sorry,
Bam.
Wham.
Don't worry. I just got a little gem to drop here. It's, Devin Vassell. I'm just gonna make it quick and brief. Obviously, I agree with you guys. This is the closest thing to a mini bye that you're going to get in the regular season for the NBA team. So that's a good look. All 4 consecutive losses. Come on now. But I think Devin Vassell has an advantage here to go over 12.5 points, 18 points the last game, 2 points the game before. It was a blowout there. So that's what that was in about. 19, 20, and 15. Went over the 12.5 points for the last 5 games. Devin Vassell is the way I'll be going here. Young legs, should be able to take advantage.
There we go. By the way, someone in the chat saying, James, the Spurs smell like my grandfather's feet. Yeah, that's not a good scent. Yeah, they don't smell, but they might smell all right tonight because the Suns may smell a little bit worse. Maybe that BO from playing so many games in a short period of time, maybe for the Suns tonight. You never know. That's going to be too much for them to overcome tonight in San Antonio. Memphis and Utah. We got Utah 10.5 point home favorites, 221 the total in this game. First meeting between these two teams since the playoff series last year in the spring. Remember, these two teams met in the postseason, and Utah won 4-1 over the Memphis Grizzlies in that series. So, yeah, it's playoff revenge for Memphis, but I still don't think they match up any better with this Utah team than they did now. And they've had a tough time in Utah. They're 0-4 ATS, their last 4 visits to Salt Lake. You look at the games in Utah with these teams, 120. There was one close game on March 26th, but other than that, 126, 110, 141, 129. You've had some tough nights for this Jazz team in Utah, 126, 110. And look, they won 4-1 in the playoff series last year. Has the Memphis perimeter defense gotten any better since then? Not what I've seen. You look at it for the season, and actually the last or overall, Memphis is allowing 40% from 3-point range. The last 5 games, they're allowing 47 or 42% rather from 3-point range. That's not good. And obviously, we know how good Utah is shooting from 3-point range from the perimeter. I don't think it's a great matchup for Memphis. Dylan Brooks doesn't look like he's going to play tonight for the Grizzlies as well. So this should be a game where Utah does what they did a lot last year when they played Memphis, and that's light up this defense. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Memphis is coming off just an absolute debacle, 138-95 loss to Minnesota. So they'll be looking to bounce back from that, but then their defense is struggling again. They've not been able to shut down the Jazz along the perimeter when they've played them the last several meetings. But the one thing they are doing is putting the ball in the basket, led by John Morant, of course, and company. They are still, shooting the ball pretty well. You look at these last few games, Houston, the Clippers, they scored a bunch of points in that game. Utah's starting to get involved in these high-scoring games, and I know I was riding the overs in the playoffs between Memphis and Utah last year. The over's 5-0 in the last 5 meetings, 13-3 to the over in the last 16 meetings in Utah between these two teams. So I like over the total. I'm not involved in the side. Just look for points, 221.5. I like the game to go over the total. Skee, what do you think here, Memphis, Utah?
Yeah, I can see both teams maybe playing with a little bit of pace here. Memphis hasn't been that great defensively, and they don't do a good job defending the 3. So, I could probably go for points in this one. I do remember Utah's been playing pretty good. They've been blowing people out. It's very hard to go against Utah. So, I think as far as how Memphis has been playing, They've only covered 2 of their last 6 games, but versus the good teams, 6-2 against the spread. 55% win teams are better. So I don't really want to give Memphis this many points. I think this is their role. I probably would go over Memphis actually.
Yeah, you know what? I want to take these points with Memphis, but then I look at the last 3 road games. They got blown out by 28 at Washington. They lost somehow by 11 against the New Orleans Pelicans on the road, and then of course they got ambushed by Minnesota by 43. They lost that game over the weekend, so they've just been whipped on the road, and now they're playing a Utah team that's whipping the opponent at home the last few games. So it's tough to even take Memphis getting all these points, even though it's a lot. What do you think? And a revenge spot too. What do you think here, Dutch? Memphis, Utah.
Yeah, this game, everything you said a lot, and everything does point against numbers wise, point against the Grizzlies here. But I like the Grizzlies, man. I really do. I think they're super live in this game. First half, full game. It's a lot of points. Obviously they coming off getting their ass whooped by 43 points. That's gonna, they're gonna come out thinking about that a little bit. That that's it. You go to sleep differently. You know what I mean? You don't shower the same after getting that ass whooped by 40 plus. Also, you touched on it, Ian. They won that first game last year in the playoffs, and then boom, four games and out after. This is a spot that just simply is going to mean more to the Memphis Grizzlies. I think you'll get the best game out of them, especially here in the first half, and it probably will, accumulate to a full game cover as well. Now on Utah's half, yeah, they've been whooping some ass, but let's look at it, boys. They've played Philly, Toronto, and Sacramento. That's their 3 wins they've got at the house right now. Now, before that, they had lost 4 out of 5 against better competition. So I think I'm not going to say, the Grizzlies are the fucking Miami Heat, but they're 8-8, and I think they're a better team, than the fucking the B squad of the Philadelphia 76ers. So I think you'll get a good. I would like to see Brooks out there, of course I would, but I think you'll see some Jaren Jackson. Maybe Anderson can show up a little bit here. The bench, just get a little bit from that bench, but if we get Morant, get a little bit of. I'd like to see Clark too off the bench do some work. But I think the Grizzlies can easily be in this game. I think they might actually can even win this game, but I definitely like the points here. And I know everything is against it. It's more of a spot. I think Grizzlies simply are just going to want this game a little bit more. It means a little bit more to them than the others.
I think so too. And I think that they ought to show up. They should be men tonight and show up because they got embarrassed by Minnesota. They've been brutal on the road lately. There's a team that beat them 4 out of 5 in the playoffs last year. This is a Memphis spot. It's scary because they've just been a no-show on the road 3 games in a row. Washington, the Pelicans. That's beyond alarming when you're losing on the road by double digits to the Pelicans. That's a red flag supreme.
Yeah,
right
that almost
there.
makes you just not want to back them automatically.
I know, but I hear what you're saying about the incentivized and the motivation and, show up after getting embarrassed by Minnesota. And this is a team that knocked them out in the postseason last year. And Utah has been beating up on Sacramento team that finally got rid of the deadwood that is Luke Walton over the weekend, kicking his ass to the curb finally after all this time. They beat Sacramento. The Raptors are struggling. They've been on the road forever, and they beat Philly without a bunch of guys in the lineup. So that's been the last 3 wins for Utah. So I hear you on that point. So I would take Memphis too before Utah here. But, man, stomach is queasy thinking about the fact to trust them right now. What do you think, Wham?
Yeah, man. It's kind of hard to go ahead and go against this Utah team. Like Skee pointed out too, this team in Memphis, man, they haven't been playing that good defense. Ranked 29th in defensive rating over the last 5 games, bro. I ain't trusting them to defend here. And this team is shooting lights out, bro. Number 1 effective field goal percentage. Number 1 in true shooting for Utah, bro. 60% they shooting out there. That shit is wild, bro. I don't want to jump in front of that. That's the only way I would look. And then, honestly, I wouldn't trust either of these teams early. Both of them have a losing record over the last 10 games in the first half. First quarter. I'm leaving away from the early spots on here, but I could see the case for Memphis, like Dutch is saying. I wouldn't take it, but I would say Desmond Bane, he has going over 14.5 points over the last 2 games. Dylan Brooks most likely is going to be doubtful out for this game. He's probably the guy I'll be looking into if I'm betting this game, bro.
All right, we got the final game now on this Monday card. It is Philadelphia and Sacramento. Sacramento 3.5-point home favorites, 221.5 the total. Money's come in on Sacramento, so here we go. First game after the firing of the head coach, everybody shows up and plays hard. Now, this worked in certain spots, right? We have seen this work in the past. In the NHL, it certainly has. In the NBA, we've seen it work as well at times. Nate McMillan, for example. Look at the difference in that Atlanta team when he took over after Lloyd Pierce got fired there. It was just like a totally different team after that. But of all the freaking guys to task as at least the coach on an interim basis here, Alvin freaking Gentry? Are you kidding me? Your issue is defense. Your issue has been defense for the last 2-3 years. How's that guy going to help your defense? Has his teams played a lick of defense in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years and counting? No, they have not. So how does that guy help you with your biggest flaw as a basketball team and your biggest weakness as a team? How? Explain. Let me hear. Hello? That's exactly what I would hear if I asked that to someone. Crickets. Hello? They wouldn't say anything because they wouldn't have an answer for you. How this is the decision you come to as your interim head coach. When defense, you can't stop anybody. And now you're going to bring in a coach to be the interim guy when he's going to coach a team to not stop anybody. How does that make any sense? But here we are with Sacramento. Lateral moves once again from just a floundering franchise that really hasn't been any good since Vlade Divac and Mike Bibby were suiting up for the team some 20 years ago. That's how long it's been since this franchise has been any good. You can have it, lay the 3.5 with this team. I'm not going to do it. I want to see a game first with the coaching change before I get involved. You know, the way you're going to see with Gentry here is, look, he's not going to crank down the pace. They play fast. They don't play much defense as teams over the years. So I don't see how Sacramento really changes much from what we've seen from them the last few years. So, and you're looking at this Philadelphia team that, you know, with still all the key absences out for this team. There's still no Joel Embiid, still no Danny Green. Tobias Harris has been in and out, and he is latest reports are expected to sit and not play tonight with the hip injury that he's going through for Philly. So, you look, I understand first game after the coaching change, you usually get a spark and an uptick in performance and a big effort from a team in this spot. But I'm still got the old heebie-jeebies thinking about laying 3.5 right now with Sacramento in this game. I would look over the total because the one thing with Philly, with all these injuries with the B squad, is Dutch called them earlier, their defensive game has really declined. They've gone over the total 4 of their last 6 games. They've given up 118, 115, 118, 120, 118. I mean, they're definitely struggling on the defensive end. So I would look over the total in this game. And Alvin Gentry going to have to show me one of his teams can defend before I'm interested in overs involving teams with him on the sideline. What do you think here, Skee, after all that ranting and raving? What do you like here? Sixers, Kings.
I think a lot of things. First, and I know we don't have that much time, but anybody's better than Luke Walton. That's what I think. And as far as defense, defense is mostly effort. So, just after the coach is fired, not a soul on Sacramento like Luke Walton, man. Buddy Hield is probably happier. Bagley might even see the floor tonight. I think everybody's going to go out there and just, play a good game and give pretty good effort. And as far as the last 5 games anyway, Sacramento's been better not offensively, but defensively, and a better rebounding team. So I like them. After the coach gets fired, I think Sacramento's going to step up and take advantage of this Philly team, especially without Tobias Harris and Embiid, all the guys. If the Kings don't cover, though, Dutch, your favorite team, is dead to me.
Yeah. This is it's lined up perfectly for Sacramento. The coaching change, everybody snap to attention. That's what they do. You snap to attention. You play with a little bit more edge. Hey, we got the new coach here. I got to show, or else I could be out the door, if I don't play well. That's the thought process. And look, they get the Sixers at their most depleted. It was one thing to know Embiid and know Danny Green. Now know Tobias Harris as well tonight. And that's going to be, I definitely get why the money's I don't want Philly. There's no way I'm back in Philly, obviously, here tonight. But for me, it's still, man, it's Gentry, man, and laying points. My gosh. But you're right. They hated Walton so much, and we see just this spirited, focused, intense, professional effort from Sacramento, because there was anything but professional in that final game before he got fired against Utah. And even worse was the game against Toronto on Friday night. That was embarrassing. I mean, the Raptors went in there and just kicked the living shit out of the Sacramento Kings in that game. And that's a Toronto team that struggled lately. And they went in there and beat the ass of that Sacramento team. So you knew the time had to be ticking on Luke Walton. And finally, the clock hit 0 and time ran out on him. Dutch, what do you think here? Kings hosting the Sixers.
Yeah, Ski want to call him my Sacramento King, but this motherfucker been betting the Kings more than I had the last week to two. I know that for sure. Once they disappointed me against the Pacers at home a week or so back, I've had a little hesitancy going back to the window with the Kings here. But I do believe this is a King spot. Our guy Moses touched on it. He'll probably be at the game. First half, look, they'll come out hot. I'll take Sacramento first half. The 2.5 is a good number too for a full game, but it's at 3.5 now. So, that's not just asking them to win, but I'm not mad at it. But we'll go ahead and first half probably. If the Kings come out, if they're gonna come out at all to play, they'll do it early, and it probably will continue. I believe it's like people say in the chat, it's a coach's spot. Everyone's touched on it. You tend to jump on that and ride that trend. Especially when people want to say Lucas probably should have been fired last year, maybe So it's been overwhelming. It's not like it was any surprise. I heard De'Aaron Fox said it was shocking in the interview, and that was a damn lie. He had to sit there and think about what the fuck to say. He like, damn, it was about dance. No, I'll say it's shocking, just to, But I feel like they'll play, Gentry's whatever, but they got enough talent to beat this team on the court. Because, like I mentioned, it's the fucking B squad for the Sixers. So the Kings should handle business. I'll probably look first half.
All right, Wham.
Yeah, it was good to see Rashawn Holmes speak after the last game before he was fired, saying that they didn't really know, they didn't really have what to do. They're doing all the talking. They're talking all that stuff, but it's only so much you could do after you talk. And sure enough, after that, the action started to happen. Luke Walton was gone. So I do think that they will play well here. I do think Metu props are really going to be improving here as well. I think a lot of guys see improvements. Buddy Hield, we do know he shoots a lot of threes, over 3.5. It's pretty high. It is plus money though, but I don't want to touch that. I think Chimezie, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Chimezie
Metu, yeah.
Chimezie Metu. There you go. Thank you very much, sir. He could go over at this 8.5 at plus 114. This is going to be an official play for me. He didn't get it against the Utah Jazz. He had 7. He would have got a couple more run if they, didn't pull it there. But before that, as far as his games, though, these last 6 games is hit for the last 6 times. So I think this is a good spot here for Chimezie Metu to go over to 8.5 points. He's getting 10 attempts a game. I think it's only going to go up from there.
All right, great stuff. That's the Monday card. Best bets, Dutch's freshest look coming up right after this. Town 101 when you're in San Antonio, Texas. Stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Manscaped, promo code PubSports, 20% off using the promo code PubSports. MyBookie.ag as well. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit at MyBookie.ag. Take advantage with all the sports going on. Use the promo code PubSports. All right. We got Net Profit College Basketball. Connor and Max coming up. Best bets to wrap up the show. Skee, what do you got for best bet?
I'll just, it'll be a one-time only thing. I'll try to catch that falling knife tonight. I think the Spurs got a big rest advantage. Spurs plus 5.5.
All right, San Antonio plus 5.5. Best bet for Skee Profit. It's definitely a Spurs spot. We'll see if they take advantage. Dutch, freshest look.
Yeah, man, I can dig it, Skee. All right, we're going to New Orleans, man, and them motherfucking Wolves love that jambalaya. 5-1 ATS the last 6 times they touched down in New Orleans. We'll go Wolves -3. They're gonna eat tonight, believe it.
I like it. Minnesota -3. Best bet or freshest look for Dutch. Timberwolves to get it done. Wham, best bet.
Bucks first half, 8 of the last 10 times, bottom 5 in rebound. Offensive rating and defensive rating for the Orlando Magic.
All right, there we go. Best bet there for Wham. My best bet's going to be, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There were points when they met in the playoffs last year. I think there are points again tonight with the two teams. Memphis, Utah, over 221. That is going to be my best bet for this Monday NBA card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Pub Hub. We got Net Profit right now, college basketball. Connor and Mac right here on Pub Sports Radio. Connor and Max, I should say. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Me, Connor, Mac, Jimmy the Bag with Beat the Line. Connor and I joining Jimmy. We're filling in for Rob Bebenik. So make sure you join us for that tomorrow night on Pub Sports Radio. And we'll be back as well tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, once again, for the NBA Pub Hub for Skee, Trot, Wham, and Dutch. This is Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you tomorrow again on Tuesday for the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio. Dutch, take us home.
Yeah, man. Hit the motherfucking like button. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed, and let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man. Yeah.
We be pub.